discussion on the significant topic of adopting older children, brought to you by Pragnaa. Today, we are privileged to introduce a distinguished panel of experts and individuals who have embarked on a remarkable journey of adopting older children. This discussion promises to shed light on the emotional, practical, and transformative aspects of this very heartwarming process. Our esteemed panelists, with their unique experiences and expertise, are here to shed light on this remarkable journey of forming families and nurturing lives. Through their stories, insights, and wisdom, we hope to deepen our understanding and appreciation of adopting older children. Thank you for joining us in this very important dialogue. Let me introduce our panelists for today. We have with us our first panelist, Nirmala Arokya.
Hi, good morning, everybody.
Good morning, Nirmala. Nirmala's journey is an inspiring blend of professional excellence as a nurse and her creative venture, Pumpkin Bakes. With over 20 years of marriage and two biological children, Joshua and Abigail, Nirmala's decision to embrace the path of adopting an older child has brought an extraordinary dimension to her family. Her husband is a software engineer and a startup owner, and Nirmala's nurturing spirit, which is combined with her innovative culinary pursuits, has created a unique background for her journey with Sagar, whom they lovingly welcomed into their lives. So, Nirmala, we look forward to delving into your experience and insights today.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Our next panelist is Sheetal Gulati. So, Sheetal is the founder of Positive Ripples Counseling, and she has worked since 2017 in the areas of parenting and family relationships and supporting adoption of children in India, which is truly commendable.
Good evening.
Sheetal is also a certified career counselor, and she extends her expertise to guiding students on their educational and professional paths. Her commitment to creating a non judgmental and confidential space for discussions aligns perfectly to today's theme of our conversation. Her insights into the emotional intricacies of older child adoption and its intersection with education and career planning, definitely that's something that we would like to talk to you about today, Sheetal. So, welcome to our panel.
Thank you for having me here, Prag.
Our third panelist is Swapnaja, and she brings a wealth of experience in facilitating learning consultancy and content development. She has over 16 years of experience in training and development across diverse industries, including retail, hospitality, manufacturing, and finance. And she is a seasoned expert in leadership and management certification programs. Her engagement with child and teen psychology studies is sure to enrich our discussion today, and her ability to creatively and to think creatively and embrace innovation, and combined with her positivity, has definitely inspired a lot of people. So we're excited to explore, Swapnaja, with your insights. How do you develop a fostering or foster a nurturing environment for an older child who has been brought into the family, and how do you navigate through the emotional terrain? So welcome to the panel today.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah. So as
Looking forward to it. Yes.
Absolutely. So as we embark on this enlightening journey of conversation and discovery, we invite you to join us to celebrate this panel discussion where we'll be talking about courage, love, and resilience that comes along in this path. So thank you everyone who's joined in for being a part of this important dialogue. But before we begin our panel discussion, I would like to thank our media partners, iAsia News Music, for broadcasting our panel live across 170 plus countries. Shout out to Dr. Krishna Puttaparthi, the CEO of iAsia News, headquartered in Dallas. To Vidya Sagar, CEO of iAsia News Music in India. Technical head Jayant, the head of public relations, Vinuta Jayant, along with Mr. Kishore Bhatia from Dubai, and the social media manager Anindita. So, Nirmala, let's kickstart today's discussion. With you. Your journey is a very inspiring blend of professional excellence. You've been a nurse and then you moved on to, start your creative venture, which is Pumpkin Bakes. So, how has this diverse background contributed towards your decision in, taking that leap of faith and adopting an older child? Because we see that most people prefer, adopting children in the younger ages, like between 0 to 2 and 2 to 4.
Yeah. I worked as a nurse in California for almost 15 years. And I was the only Indian nurse in the hospital that I worked. And pretty much everyone that I worked with, the nurses, had an adoption story. There were maybe two or three who didn't have an adoption story. Either they were adopted, or they were married to someone who's adopted, or they adopted kids from different countries. And my best friend had adopted four children from Russia, two were
Oh,
siblings. I worked with a doctor who got a son from Peru, and everything looked so normal. Everything looked so fine, and I was like, what are we hustling and bustling about? My good friend, I went to her house, and she said, "Hey, meet my sister." And then she is like my skin tan with black hair, and her sister is like blonde, white. I said, "Your sister?" She's like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah. My parents adopted me from Greece, and I think she came from some British island. I really don't know." And then her kids came running to hug her. I was like, why can't we normalize things? And
right.
we still live in that day and age. How do we tell the adopted? What will our neighbors think? How will family adjust? And I'm very lucky and fortunate to be married to someone who was okay with adoption, because his best friend is adopted.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, so then everything was so normal for us. It was nothing that I was going out of a boat, that I'm going to do something new. I'm going to venture something new. So I was like, so when we moved back to India in 2010, we gave it a good thought about adoption. Meanwhile, my second child was born. I still didn't back down on my adoption plan. And yeah, so then we put our papers down, I think in 2020, we put our papers down in Kara for adoption.
Wonderful, wonderful. No, a lot of very interesting stories that you do have, Nirmala. I hope you do, share more about them through our conversation today.
I
Um,
will.
yeah. So, Sheetal, my next question is to you. So, you work in the counseling and supporting, space. So, could you elaborate on the emotional aspects that families should consider when contemplating adopting an older child, especially in the Indian context?
Absolutely. So this is more important now, because mostly, let's say, at least 80 to 85% of people who are willing to adopt a child would look at a 0 to 2 year old child for adoption. So that would be a normal situation in India where they can pass it off as this is my own biological child to some extent. They would want to still go ahead and pretend that they haven't adopted. But when you have the courage and you think that you're going to adopt a child who is older than the 0 to 2 year bracket, it all comes into um, the so-called even 2 to 4 age group. People still are okay to accept. But once the child is older than 4 years old, they put them in a old child category, which actually is an unfair thing because a child is a child and needs that care, needs that attention, needs that love all along the way. And maybe as parents, only after we become parents do we realize that even at 40 or 45, we still need our parents. We're still a child. So when
Right.
you define older child in the Indian context, usually it goes 6 years and beyond, right? In that case, the emotional need is both ways. One is for the parents who are adopting the child. They need to understand that they are adopting someone who has lived their life in different circumstances than what they're bringing in, when they're bringing them into the family. So the child has some food habits. The child has some desires to wear some certain kind of clothes. They may not be able to adjust to the family because they need to understand how the family functions. uh,
Right.
each family has their rules, their set of nuances. They have different family processes, procedures. And the child knows already that I am coming to a new household. I need to enter into a new household. So therefore, unconditional love, tremendous amount of patience is required for a child who's coming from one of these adoption agencies into our home. And we cannot we cannot expect them to completely come in and become one with the weave that we have already in our family, because
Absolutely.
they will take time. So
Absolutely.
we need to give them time. We need to be able to understand them. We need to have a lot more patience than we would for a 0 to 2 or a 2 to 4 year old child, simply because these children already have a mind of their own.
Exactly.
They are already growing up in a they've been growing up in an institution where they were never given a choice. Maybe they were given
Right.
what was available. So now
Right.
suddenly coming into a family where they may have a choice of, what do I want to eat, do I like it, do I not like it, and various other things. Even family members, they may bond beautifully with other kids but may not show that affection for the adoptive parents.
Absolutely.
Now,
No, no, no. Very well said. I mean, and I think that is where a lot of adoptive parents or prospective adoptive parents are concerned that, will they be able to live up to this challenge? And that's the thing that we want to kind of break out of today through this panel discussion. So, Swapnaja, if you can share, your extensive experience across, training and development across industries, I'm sure that's also kind of contributed towards the decisions that you have made. So, in the context of today's discussion, what are the key skills or strategies that parents as such can employ when they need to create a nurturing and supportive environment for older children that they bring home?
Okay, the first thing is there are five major factors, I would say, okay? Mm, because I'm from the training and development industry, and recently actually I switched my profile to the teen psychology, and I'm learning a lot of aspects in child psychology. So I understand there are five major factors. The first is, I think, as Nirmala just mentioned something, that can't we just be normal about adopting older children, or not to call them older children, just call them normal children. So thing is, while building an attachment is the most important thing. I mean, how you're going to build up attachment with them, because you have to have a super plan ready for that. Think that as a 20 years of project. 20 years of project with are we prepared emotionally, physically, mentally, spiritually, physically, whatever different aspects, are we ready? Okay, so hard, ask yourself hard hitting, soul searching questions before you step into the process. Okay, and the answer is yes, 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 all green flags, then go ahead with it. That's something which is, because sometimes we think that okay, we are emotionally ready. Everybody thinks that I'm emotionally capable, but are we physically capable? Are we financially capable? Are we capable, maybe, as helping them to establish social communication, social well-being, everything? Are we capable? Once you are very sure, step into the process. The
Right.
first time you welcome the child or children, I think the building the connection is the most important. Just being normal, and don't overdo certain things, don't over pamper, try to over welcome them, just make a very normal affair. So they will understand that okay, I think I'm stepping into something which will be little secure, not overwhelming, not overstimulating, because they come from the different setting. As Shital said, a very, you don't know, because for me, I had no idea about their past history, whether they were neglected, they were abused. Yes, they were abused, but how far? I had no idea about their family history. So they come with the blank page. So the first thing is just maintain the normalcy in your treatment initially.
Right.
Second, addressing the trauma and grief. Don't get scared. Don't push the envelope under the carpet. Just be free, and try to be honest with the commitment you communicating with the children about their trauma and grief.
Okay, we've lost Swapnija. We'll get her to continue once she's back. But let's just continue. So, one common question that I have, maybe Sheetal and Nirmala, either of you can answer, you all can take turns, is how do you describe the process of bonding and building trust with your child? Because that was what Swapnacha was talking about.
Can I go for Sheetal?
Yes, please.
Sagar was 5.5 when we reserved him, but because of paperwork and everything, he was almost 5 years and 10 months when we got him home. And since I already have two bio kids, I worked with a lot of pediatric patients, so I kind of know how children work, bonding, and things like that. But it's a total ball game when you bring a child home from an institution. It's not like your bio kids or anything like that. So, like Swapna just said, try to be as cool as possible. Have your master plan ready. I would say at least have 10 things that you don't want to compromise on. You don't want compromise on TV time. You don't want to compromise on, say, eating habits or, sleeping time. What is priority for you and your husband. I wouldn't care about the rest of the family. The rest, I think we could break rules. If he wants to sleep in shorts or jeans, if he only wants to eat rice for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, things that are not very important. But things that are important, like I wouldn't let him watch TV past 8 o'clock. And I think it's very important to connect with a child psychologist. I am an OCI parent, so it was mandatory by CARA that I take one or two psychological counseling before adoption. So that was actually eye opening. And post adoption, every month I went for counseling, which is, I think, which every parent should enroll and do it. Whether they are Indian, non-Indian, I think counseling is so important. We overlook that. Just to pour your heart out as to what has happened, why my child is doing it in such a way. And we need to share that fear. We need to share that doubt or grief or what. It is not rosy. It is not rosy all the time. There are instances where you feel very lonely, that why did he do something. Like my son did something very inappropriate in the playground when there were 20 other children in the apartment. And when the nanny came and told me, I was very disturbed. But then after counseling, I felt so much better.
Right.
Maybe it happened in the institution. Maybe it happens even if he was not in the institution. And that's why my child is trying to imitate that. Uh,
Right.
yeah, so I think, like Swapna just said, you need to have a plan. You need to talk to parents who adopted kids. Create a group, go meet them. The more prepared you are, it's much better.
Absolutely.
Nothing come. You'll still have shockwaves, but the more prepared you are, it's much better.
Absolutely. Sheetal, would you like to add to this, please?
Yeah, so like Nirmala said, anyway, bringing home a child who is not really in the same set, has not grown up with you and is just joining your family, they will have a different set of ideas. They would have seen things that you can't even imagine. They would have
Right.
gone through experiences that you cannot ever think a child should go through. So maybe they won't speak about it, but it would have affected their mind, it would have affected their behavior. So like Nirmala ji said, exactly, you keep your framework ready. You also keep the fact that what are non-negotiables
Right.
in a normalized situation. You find the non-negotiables, you stick to those non-negotiables. Then on various other things, you can there is a give and take, right?
Absolutely.
It could also be the language that the child has grown up in and has come to another house. So that's another thing that is important to look into. Hygiene can be a big thing. It could be non-negotiable for you, but the child may never realize that before every meal and after every meal we're supposed to wash our hands. It may not have been something that they've been taught or that has never been emphasized, but for us it's a non-negotiable. So we focus on those things.
Absolutely. So, another question I open it to all the three of you is, um, how do you kind of, and this is a very common question that we are asked even by people who connect with us. So, how do you consider the transition, not just into the family, but also into, the school environment? Because everything is so new, and some parents kind of, they tell, who kind of connect with us, they say that, hey, you know what, we're a little skeptical, our child is a little back when it comes to education, they're not able to cope with studies and things like that. So how do you think this entire transition process actually has to happen?
Can I speak?
Yes, Swapnija.
Yeah. So for me, because I adopted siblings, okay, and when they welcome into my family, they were almost 6 and 8. So they reached that proper schooling age, and of course they were lagging back. They are not in the mainstream of the education system, and I was very much worried that how to actually not push them, but how to maybe elevate them to the mainstream education system. Uh, Before they arrived, actually, I selected or identify 3 to 4 schools. I have not gone by the fancy names. I have not seen the what kind of curriculum is ICSE or CBSE or state board. I have just browsed through the website, understand their values, whether they
Right.
have inclusion and diversity, how is their campus, whether what kind of mix bag of the culture is there, the administrator and principal, how do they look that how, what are their lookout, or how do what are their perspective about imbibing a different child or children. I met couple of principals and administrator, all those authorities. Of course, I mean, I would not say, but could only filter down with only one school, and they open their arms and say that we are welcoming. This is
Right.
our community responsibility as a member of a community, responsible member of the community, and then that's how I actually took my children. And because Nirmala must be knowing that I still don't have legal guardianship. We have actually got admission without any single papers. They are still studying over there. They are doing fantastic. The transition from the Marathi medium, vernacular medium, where they could only write A, B, C, D, and could speak 1 to 100. Now they can comprehend, analyze, and they're getting A and Bs. I would say that transition because of school experience. I enhanced the school experience. I made each and every teacher explain the situation not to gain the empathetic point of view, but to tell them that they major goal is to just adjust in the mainstream, having a good social life and understand what is going on in a class. If they can
Right.
comprehend, I'm always there. And slowly 3 months they struggle. They were confused because everybody was speaking in English. They were overstimulated. The younger one saying, "Mummy, they are actually calling me with the names." I said, "They're not calling with names. They're saying that you cannot speak English." So, and slowly they adjusted. I actually motivated them. School is all about motivation. So I said, if you are motivated as a student, you have only one duty: going to the school and finishing your homework. Just do that religiously, things will pass. And this academic year, they are actually in the mainstream. Okay, and I'm hearing a lot of good feedback about them, that now they are actually properly um, mix with the culture. They understand how to behave in a school premise, how to behave as a collective behavior. Okay, in school premise, everything they are learning, and they are doing good. So the first and foremost, identify, select the schools which can actually align with the values, or maybe the kind of goal or agenda you have. Don't go with the fancy names, don't go with the curriculum, just go with your instincts. And this enhancing school experience, only you can do it. Attending the PTM is a part of it, but meeting their class teachers, making them understand that, okay, you don't have to accommodate spatially, they don't have to treat them special children or special child. Just you have to you have to make them participate in a daily things, though they don't understand, comprehend, or they don't know what to do. Just do that, and that will help me. And teachers are like so amazing. They help me. So I'm maybe fortunate parent, but I would say. Second thing is identify their interest areas, because children are very their mind is like a monkey. They think that today I like cricket, tomorrow they will say I like chess. Okay,
Right.
so I have enrolled them in many things, and I made that mistake. So I understand one hobby area or one interest area, pick that up, stick to it. As a mother, stick that ritual, stick to that diligently, that baby, you have to go. Okay, you have to go there, you will like it. And first of all, my kids were like, no, they were very afraid of structure because they were vagabond. They were completely vagabond with no rules were there, of course, in Balasha, the state agents I'm talking about. But yes, on an individual basis. So using the effective discipline strategies was very helpful for me.
Absolutely.
Non-negotiable, as Chital mentioned, yes, certain things are no. Junk food
Absolutely.
only once in a week. Okay, food habits for me. I'm lucky, I would say, because my kids are eating the same food, the way I'm eating, and like Maharashtrian style. But the thing is, in if your kid is not eating the same food, or they don't have same food habits, I think that gradually they'll adapt. It's
Absolutely.
okay to let them win sometimes. Let
Absolutely.
them, yeah, letting them win sometimes, and when and how you choose it, you decide
Absolutely.
it. And they
Absolutely.
let them feel that okay, parents are accommodating. And second thing is, if they feel secure, they will behave normal, because
Absolutely.
a secure child is always a normal child. For
Absolutely.
example, they feel extremely secure, they start throwing tantrums. If he's throwing tantrums, is good for me because he's behaving normal. He's
Absolutely.
demanding, he's normal. He's crying, he's normal. He's saying that, oh, I don't want to go to school because I have a stomach ache. It's a normal thing.
Right.
So
Swapnacha,
dealing
I'm
with
sorry.
normal problem is,
In the interest of time, we will have to listen to more about you in the forthcoming questions.
yes.
But I'll have to open the question to Sheetal and Nirmala. If you all can quickly, share a minute of your experience and your best practices.
Nirmala, go ahead.
What was the question again? I was so
So
engrossed in
it's about
apologize.
how do you kind of help them settle into an educational environment apart from
Oh
the home
yes, yes.
environment.
Yeah, so go don't go with the horror stories that you heard from others, like teachers are mean, kids will get punished and things like that. I'm telling you, at least in a metropolitan city like Bangalore, they are so open to kids who come from an institution. And the principal of the school where Saga goes, um, she said, I couldn't adopt a child. You have done it. Let me be part of his journey. You know,
Lovely.
she was almost in tears when and without a birth certificate, without court order, without nothing, she took him into the UKG. She took him in the class 1 year below his grade, which and my husband and me were totally okay with. And we had issues with him running around in class, turning on the switches of the fan and turning it off, breaking pencil, touching others, minding everybody else's business. And yeah, it took more than a year for him to settle down, because the teachers knew he's hyper, so they engaged him in other activities. So she used to have him collect the books, walk up the stairs to the staff room, leave the books, distribute the worksheets to everybody. So she kept him busy because she knew that this was his storyline. So I think it's very important you talk to the class teacher. This is where he comes from, this is what he knows. Give him his time, just let not fear set in the classroom setting, because every time he walked out of the house he has, मैं फिर से घर आ जाऊंगा, मैं फिर, so his fears is still whether I will stay here or whether we will abandon him. So what
Right.
can I expect him to study in school, and he got A or B or anything. So if that 1 year, even now, either me or my husband drop him and we pick him. We make sure when that school bus comes to the apartment gate, we are there. So now it is like, oh, can you make porridge when I come home? So the request has changed from will I come
Absolutely.
home to whatever. So like Swapna just said, I think when they trust you and that trust bond is built, nothing matters. They will flare in every aspect: studies, reading, sports, whatever it is.
Absolutely.
So yeah,
Absolutely.
so
Yeah.
that's my take on academics.
Yeah. Thank you, Nirmala. Sheetal, can you please share your.
Yes, quickly, just I agree with Nirmala and Swapnaja that I mean they've gone through the experience. Fear of abandonment is really, really big for these kids. So transitioning from an environment of the institution to the home, where they feel that maybe I'm going to get love and affection and a family and a brother and a sister here and a set of parents to call my own. Suddenly, we're trying to tell them to go to school for a couple of hours. And they're probably their most important question, like Nirmala said, is that will you be there? Are you going to leave me alone? So that fear of abandonment is very, very real. So building a trust relationship, it could be a gradual transition into the school environment. Go for one day, don't go for two, then go for one day. So like two times a week you start with, and then as time goes along they make friends, they realize that they come home to the same house, to the same set of parents, to the same set of the extended family that they have. That is the best way to go. So maybe 2 days of school, then extending gradually to 5 days of school, till they build that same trust relationship in school with friends and teachers who give them the love and affection. And then
Absolutely.
academics will follow. So I think I'll just say that much for
Yeah.
this one.
Absolutely. So, one quick question. So, a lot of people, they have this thing. There's this misconception that there is love at first sight as soon as you see a child. Like when we went to when I saw my little one's photograph for the first time, it was not love at first sight, but it was more about a connection. It was a need to care or need to nurture, her into a beautiful human being. The love did come up. I think it didn't happen even with my bio child. The moment I saw her, it was more like, God, I've just gone through labor. So maybe if y'all can, each of y'all can share a minute of your experience about how is it that you navigate through this thing? Because a lot of people talk about, oh, it was love at first sight as soon as we saw our baby. Maybe it's a feeling that is so strong that you can't really call it love at that moment, but it's later. But it creates a sense of, guilt that I saw my child's photograph and I did not feel love at that moment. So if y'all can each take like a minute and share your experience.
Yeah, I think I'll go first.
Please.
You rightly said it's not love at first sight. Uh, for us, he was, like I told you, 5 years and 10 months. So I was like, my God, he's so puny for 5 and 10 months. From maybe I was looking from a nurse angle, his arms are so small, his face is like this, and things like that. But I think you just embrace the child the way the child is. Just embrace the child. The love will happen. You know
Right.
uh, it's the least expected time. He will just bring one little piece of chips and he'll feed me, and he say, oh, taste it, this is really yum. And a couple of weeks ago, he came and he gave me a hug. He comes from school and he'll give me a hug. And my older son is like, oh, Saga, 2 minutes you've been hugging mama. Get off her, she's choking. He says, no, I'm smelling my mom. Don't disturb me.
How sweet.
Oh,
I just froze when he hurts. I mean, I heard the other two have never told him. And my daughter's like, gee, she's not even showered and you're smelling her. So love builds like that. It's like you said, it's not first sight. It's little actions, little moments. Love just builds like that.
Absolutely, absolutely. Who would like to go next?
Uh, for us, when we received the profile of Shiv and Shreya, honestly speaking, we saw their profile through absolutely neutral prism. We did not see our loving children over there. We have seen the profile, and in the practical approach, I mean, we have seen things from the practical approach, that okay, the age, what kind of hobbies, interests, what are the psychological assessment and everything. But when actually we went and went to meet them, and we understood that they were waiting for us and they were not eating well, they were not sleeping well, they were so overwhelmed. They were telling the stories to their other friends, school friends, and their other friends, that my mommy daddy are coming to pick me up.
Sweet.
Okay, and that's something that strike me. Okay, that
Right.
strike us, me and Suresh. It's like we reached there in the state agency, and it's like, oh my God, they harassed us. Those nannies told that they harassed us from last 15 days. When are you going to arrive? Okay, and that moment the goosebump happened, and I said, this is a destiny. So when you go through the process, you go with a practical approach, because of course it's a very tedious technical process. So you, the emotional touch up or emotional connect or emoting would not happen initially, maybe 1 week, 2 weeks, or maybe until you meet a child or children.
Right.
So for us, that was a eureka moment. It's like, and
Uh,
me and Suresh were looking at each other and we just nodded. It was silent body language, okay? And they just came to us and they were so shy. The elder one was like, literally like, it's like, we are seeing a first time a bride, or kind of. He was like not coming and all, shying, he's just looking through the door and all. The elder one just grabbed the lap of his father, and just that moment we understood we are a family.
house.
So yeah, so that happens, you understand that connect. If during the process, sometimes it can be a first love at first sight, if you're lucky, look at the picture and you fall in love, or you meet a child, still you don't develop that emotional connect, but you spend a little bit of time and you understand that, okay, now I can understand, I can connect, I can maybe emote with that child, and that's how you should grab that thing and go ahead with that.
Right.
There is nothing. Not everybody will have that moment of truth every time.
Right.
Okay.
I think it's a very overwhelming experience that there's
Yeah.
so much involved. There's emotion, there's paperwork, there's everything of
Uh,
so much, right? And
so
that's
you became very practical in that process, because the
absolutely.
process is very very lengthy. For us it was not. That's what I'm saying. In certain aspects, we are being lucky. However, because I have two boys, and 6 to 8, just imagine their
Yeah,
energy
it's
level.
a handful.
Oh my God, I'm on my toes. I'm just
I
telling you.
understand. Yeah.
I'm having a 40 years of project with me, and it's like endless process. Every day is a new day. Every
Right.
day is a new day. You sleep and they sleep. Oh, they're sleeping now. It's the end of the day. Today morning, tomorrow morning, they're going to get up, and you will have a new challenges. So
Absolutely.
be ready for that. So
Absolutely.
it's an endless
Yeah.
process, but it's
So,
a fun. It's fun,
ab-
and for it's like people. And that's something which is I came across. Most of the people came to me and say, "Oh, you have done such a great deed." I said,
yeah,
"No, I wanted this. I wanted to
exactly.
become mother. I wanted to enjoy motherhood. That's what. This is my selfishness, okay? And I welcome them. So it's me who's actually on a brighter side of the matter, because I'm the one who's enjoying it. I'm the one
Absolutely.
who's experiencing. So don't look at from the that you are giving something to them, or oh, you are going to empower their life. No, 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 no. Because nowadays, if you see the ratio, the children, the prospective children are less than the adoptive parents. Adoptive parents are actually queuing up to
Right.
have the kids. Okay,
Right.
so the ratio has changed. So if you are welcoming the child, and if you don't have emotional connect in first 2 minutes, it's okay. It's okay. You will have your moment of truth. Okay, and
Absolutely.
you will come to know. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you, Swapna. Jashita, over to you.
Yeah, it's true. You don't necessarily fall in love at the first sight. It can also be a very overwhelming experience, just like having a biological child. I mean, you've just gone through the whole process of birthing a child. You're in shambles yourself, probably still in pain, and then you have this child who's there. You don't know what to do with them, and
Exactly.
you don't know whether to love them or to feel the pain or to move on with how things are. So yes, it is a connection that develops.
Absolutely.
um, correction. And then of course what brings it to the real reality of all of it is unconditional commitment. um,
Absolutely.
Knowing that this is going to be my child, either it is biological or adoptive. Just knowing that I have a child at home, I'm suddenly a parent, I have a sense of responsibility that I have to fulfill. So the choice is ours in that case, saying I will eventually fall in love. I will eventually have all the fun of parenting. I will eventually do everything else, but it's my commitment to this commitment to having these children in my family and having them stay. It's not like, oh, just because they're adopted, I'm going to give them back. That is not going to happen. They are
Absolutely.
mine and mine to deal with at every single step of the way. And so that both of us can live well. And it isn't negative in the sense of and overprotectiveness, and it just needs to be a great balance. So
Absolutely.
that is done, love will follow. And like Nirmala ji said, the kiss on the cheek, the screaming as soon as they enter the house, with
Uh,
if mama is not at the door, mommy, I'm home, mommy, I'm home. So those kind of things are the true joy moments of parenting. Though after half an hour after that, when they're not eating the snack that they had asked us to prepare, could be an issue, saying, I've spent the whole morning trying to find the recipe, get the ingredients, and make this stuff, and now you don't want to eat it. So it could be
Right.
frustrating, but love is there, and that's all.
Absolutely. I think those are all elements that come with the whole package of parenting, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And it is a long process. Like I said, 40 years down
Absolutely.
the line, I know my mom still says, I'm your mom, you have to listen to me.
Exactly, exactly. So we are now opening the floor to questions, and we have quite a few interesting questions. The first is from Venkatesh, who's on Facebook with us. He says we've heard a lot of news about parents returning the children due to adjustment issues. So, is there like any pro tip for parents to handle such situations? And I think this is very appropriate because Sheetal, you just touched upon it. So, who would like to answer this? Yes, Venkat.
I can answer
Yes,
that.
yes,
Yes.
Venkat.
Mr. Venkatesh, let me tell you and everybody who's listening to us, uh, you need to embrace the child the way the child is. Give yourself time. If you think the child has been in the institution for 2 years, give yourself 2 years for the child to unlearn what he has learned from there.
Right,
You know, my his pediatrician had told my son goes and hugs everybody. Now he has stopped that, and he said because his bonding has never happened. So give him time. Give him at least 18 months. He will stop hugging others and he'll only hug you. And we are at that phase right now. Your kids can steal food. They could even steal money. Rub their private parts, not knowing they're standing in front of who, eat like they've never seen food. All these are embarrassing situations because they are not tailor made. They have not come from a secure family. They just know survival. They only know survival. Your kids
right,
could back answer. They could throw things. The first 2 days that my son had come, I gave him apple and he bit an apple head. He did two and he spat the skin of the apple, the peel. That just shook me, and I'm like, what did you do? So there will be so many things that they have learned which we don't approve of. Give them time to unlearn. You need to accept it. This is my child, no matter what. Even if you have a bio child, you're like, oh my god, my child is not studying, my god, my child is lying. You won't drop off your child somewhere and go about your business. You're going to teach your child. If you need a tuition teacher, you'll put an extra tuition teacher. If you need counseling, you take counseling. So small things like food and stuff like that. My son was obsessed with biscuits. We made sure there was biscuits everywhere in the house wherever he turned around. And then he just got tired of seeing biscuits in 6 months and he just stopped eating biscuits.
right,
So pick and choose your battle. Like him going hugging others, I would still not approve of, but you go slow. Him lying or taking things, just pick and choose your battles. Things that doesn't mean too much, especially food and things like that. Him forgetting to flush the toilet, taking, like a half baked bath, it's okay. Let it go, let it go. But things that are important to you, like hitting other children in the play area, pushing them down the slide, things that I don't approve of, I nail it then and there. Maybe not the first time, maybe the 10th time they will get it.
Right. I think it's all about setting boundaries. Would anybody else, Swapnaja, Sheetal, would you like to add to this in a quick 30 seconds and we move on because we have a lot of questions and we have just 15 minutes left?
No, I completely agree with Nirmala. Um, Make sure what are the things that are non-negotiables, because you're putting the child out there as your own. So sometimes we take these things very personally. Um, if something, the child does something that is not appropriate according to you, we forget that the child is coming with some past experiences. We could end up punishing the child, though that's not the case, which is where what we need here is to be patient, to help, to understand, and then to take steps, take the corrective steps in the right manner. So yeah, completely in agreement with Nirmala ji.
Okay, just a
Absolutely.
little bit to add. Till the concrete operational age, like till 9 to 10, if you tell the children what is expected out of them, behavior wise, academic wise, or maybe discipline wise, if you tell them properly, if you imbibe the importance of routine and rules from the day one, I don't think so. You will have to think twice whether the children are adjusting or child is getting adjusted, or are we tuning or not. If you keep the structure and routine in a place, at least 15% of the war you are going to win.
Absolutely.
50% will happen organically.
Right.
That's yeah.
Right. So, Nirmala, our next question is from Kasturi
I
Rao,
just
who's
wanted to add one more point to the previous question.
sure, Nirmala.
Connect with one more parent who has adopted an older child or a child of the same age group. You can always vent out to that parent and they will tell you what they went through. don't
Right.
don't suffer with that alone. Even before adoption, connect with that parent. Once you've adopted, connect with that parent. The next 1 year, connect with that parent, and celebrate every small success that happens at home.
Absolutely. I think you put it in very right. It's so important to be a part of the community because you realize that you're not the only one battling it
Yes.
out. That it's a very
Yes.
common situation.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So Nirmala, the next question is from Kasturi Rao, and it's exclusively for you to answer. So if you can like answer this in a minute.
Yeah.
Um, she's got two questions. The first one is, how long was the wait when you registered at Kara to bring the child home as an OCI, a holder? And
Yeah.
did you have time to meet and bond with the child before you brought him home to help with the smoother adoption?
Yeah, so I'll answer it really quick. So we registered in Kara and waited for a little more than 3 years, and we were getting impatient, and I gave myself another 4 months and withdraw my papers. Uh, I didn't have the heart to go and see the IP list because there were so many children who needed parents, and I'm cherry picking them. So that one Saturday, I said, okay, fine, let me see, go with the IP list, and I saw my son, 5.5 year old, and we reserved him. So that's how we got him at, I think, 3 years and 4 months of registering in Kara. The institution that I got him from, Bombay, uh, was super awesome. Once our paperwork went through and we got the NOC, they gave us video call with my son. I think, almost 10 to 11 video calls I made with him. So when I went to go get him, he was like, chalo gar chalte hain. That's it. He didn't even allow us to sign any papers. Chalo gar chalte hain. That's all. Nothing. No, no buy, no turning back, no nothing. They wanted to take a picture of us with their institution board. My man will not stand for anything. He said, auto wala aa gaya, rickshaw wala aa gaya, chalo gar chalte hain. So, the connection is humongous, and that puts a toll on you. My God, I hope I do justice to this child. He's trusting me so much. You
Right.
know? Yeah,
Absolutely.
so that's my experience.
Absolutely. We have a question from Rohan, and I think Swapnaja, you would be the right person to answer this in a quick minute. He says, "Can you please share your experience how bio-sibling dynamics are affected?"
Yes, because I adopted siblings, and I don't know their real biological age, but they are like 2 years apart from each other. Uh, I apparently thought because they are siblings, of course they will be very with the harmony or something. But I think they are two different personalities. Treat them as a individuals, different individuals. Don't treat them as a collective sibling kind of unit kind of. Treat them as a different individual. They both have different personalities. They both have experienced same amount of same level of neglect, abuse, and trauma and grief. However, their coping mechanism are different. The
Right.
elder one is very mature. He's very systematic. He cope up with it. He processed through in his system, and he overcame. And he wants to have a better life. That's what his conversation is all about. The younger one is still battling with it because he's in that age. Okay, so sometimes subconsciously he says and he does certain things, which sometimes I like. Um, I think subconsciously is full of that neglect and trauma. How I'm going to make him aware that okay, now you are in secure environment. That doesn't happen overnight. When you bring two siblings, they just imagine they are not a unit. They are different personalities. Treat them like that. Okay, their interests are different. Their hobbies are different. They like different things, different colors. Everything is different. So you're bringing two different individuals at home. If they are in harmony, my kids are not in harmony. They are like enemy, arch rivals of each other. Okay, and sometimes I'm like, are you like, no, he's my brother, but I don't like him. I mean, of course, because they are in that age. Okay,
Right.
so and second thing is bringing for my decision bringing sibling is because I wanted to have a larger family always. So for me, only child, I think was not in my agenda. So I always wanted to have a boys girl would have been okay with me, and boys would be very tough for you because you have a two active, very active, in that concrete operational pre-operational age kids, where one is not thinking logically, one is thinking logically, and there is a lot of conflict in between. So
Yeah.
when you are have a one in a pre-operational stage where 2 to 7, be careful that he will be absolutely egocentric. He will not understand his elder sibling at all. So that's how she is happening. She doesn't accommodate the elder one. Elder one accommodates him like anything. So every household, the sibling issue, even I'm facing it.
Right.
Again, I'm viewing it from the very normal prism. Because if I see that minutely or with the binocular or with a different prism, it will not work. So I see that, oh yeah, I used to fight with my sibling. I used to think that, why is she here? I don't want to have sibling. Like, so the thing is, it sometimes they're like, why do you have to get him here? You would have just chosen me. Kind of like, I said, because you're two and I want to. And you two are same for me. Okay. And you're going to live in this household and you're going to follow the rules and you're going to live with each other and you're going to share the room. So that's the thing. Just treat them as a different, in respect their differences, okay, and accept their similarities. So that's, I think, to deal with.
Absolutely. I think it's just like any normal family
Yeah.
dynamic. We've grown up. Like I have a bio kid and a heart baby, and they squabble like crazy, and it's just so normal, and that's what makes this whole process so normalized. So the next question, I'm opening it up. Any of you can answer this. This is coming from Saumini, who asks, "How do you deal with past memories, which are good and bad?" I know you all have answered this, but maybe if one of you all can take it like into a very pointed way and talk about how do you deal with these past memories, which are both good and bad, and how do they impact the child's day-to-day life today.
I can answer that like in a minute, and somebody could add more to that.
Sure, Nandini.
So, a child will come with memories, good or bad or scary. I think just listen to them. That's it. Don't put a band aid on it. Just listen to what the child has to say. And at the end of everything, just say, "You are safe here. I am there for you. We will take care of you." Don't say, "Oh, it's okay. It happened long ago. Um, never mind. It's a small thing. Why did you cry for that?" No, no, no. You just have to listen to them. Um, and once you act like the mouth is not working, only the ears are working. And once you just listen to them, there is more and more and more that they will just pour out to you.
Right.
And every time, maybe even 100 times. Reassure them, you are here with me. I will make sure this doesn't happen. You are safe with me. We love you. Just repeat it again and again and again.
Right.
There,
Absolutely.
there is no quick fix to this memories. There is no quick fix.
Absolutely. Sheetal, would you like to add to this?
Yeah, like what Nirmala ji is saying, there's no quick fix to it. A hug and assurance is what we need to give to them at all times. A good night kiss daily, putting them into bed and saying, I'm in the next room. You can come to me if you have a bad dream or you have some thoughts. You can wake me up at any time. I'm still here for you. It mostly is coming to the moms, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah, so those are the things that we keep reassuring them. Hold on to them, listen to them as much as you can, and then keep building new memories which will help these older ones fade away or seem less traumatic. So build new happy memories where the child feels an instant connect and attachment, a sense of positive connection with you, and then take it forward from there.
Absolutely. I think one thing is that, especially for new parents who are, bringing in kids who are 6 years or older home, the thing is they want to kind of, give them that physical connect, but these kids are never used to such things. So they may kind of shy away. So
Yeah.
one advice that we have from Pragnya's side is that help your child ease into the process. Let them get comfortable with you emotionally. And then, you can bring in the whole physical display of love with them.
Agree.
Don't try to do it at the first go, because it may just suddenly make them feel too overwhelmed and uncomfortable.
Yeah. But I
And
also think, if I may interrupt you, I also think that all of these stories will only come when that basic trust has been, when they are assured that they are going to stay here. These are the parents I'm going to deal with. I can share my deepest, darkest secrets or stories with them. And
absolutely,
then probably you've already built that trust to be
absolutely,
able to hold on to them. It need not be a hug, it could just be a holding of hands while they're talking, it could be just some sense of touch. That's all. But you're
absolutely.
completely right. When they come home, then no, not at that time, not immediately.
Absolutely, absolutely. So our next question is from we have two very related questions. So I'll ask you one about from one of our viewers who asked, how does the agency support the adoption of children above 6 years of age in terms of counseling for both the children and the parents?
Uh, the agency that Swapnaja and me got our kids from were very well versed. They prepared them very, very well. But the counseling, what we did was from outside. We didn't take it from the agency. And there are plenty of counselors in India. There are plenty of books. There's YouTube that there's like a so much of wealth of knowledge in YouTube regarding adoption and children having issues and how you deal with them and things like that. Um, we need to just tap into all these things and prepare ourselves.
Right.
Yeah.
So, can either you or Swapna just kind of shed some light about how did they prepare the children? Like, were there any? Are you aware of any steps that they took with regard to preparing the children?
Swapnaja, why don't you answer this?
I think the state agency. I will name them Balasha. I think they have a very professional approach. They used a very strategic approach, even for the kids and even for the parents. So they were like, so we should be on the same page. So initially, I think when they ask us to go through the complete assessment and the reports, read through it. If we have any questions, we can throw that some questions to them, but we did not have any. And then by the time they were preparing the kids about that, okay, they're showing them the photographs, where you're going to live in the future, okay, what are the names of your parents, what are their profession, and what kind of neighborhood you will have, what kind of language they speak, okay, they eat the same food that you eat or something. So preparing a very on a very basic fundamental levels. Then with the time when we do some paperwork and all, we go to the next step two. Then actually they introduce us them through a video call. We also had almost 12 days session, like a good 1.5 hour every day. and that actually helped us, because initial the that I would say we broke the ice with each other. Okay, and that helped us. And 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 the counselors were there, and then the guy, the trustee also was there. The other members were sitting there observing us. Okay, and even the kids. So in any kind of intervention from their side helped us, because see, directly cannot connect with the 6 and 8 sitting
Right.
there across the virtual window. They
That's true.
don't know what is happening, and they're all hyper. Okay, so they were there, they were telling, they're intervening, they're probing the questions, and we were asking them very casual questions to just break the ice. That really helped us easing the pressure on us as a parent, because we also have to put the best show on
That's
the virtual window,
that's
and
correct.
the same pressure goes to the kids.
The
So
kids
I
as well.
think that is enough the pressure, and we could think little slowly, easily, and all. The pressure has gone off, and then we started meeting every day, over the virtual window. And that's how we're like, okay, now you know this. Now we started talking on a friendly tone. And when we decided to meet physically, that time I told you, like, almost the 60-70% work has been done. And the thing is, only we're meeting physically and then connecting and taking to the next level. So I think the every state agency should follow that kind of things. And the counselors, yes, but I always would recommend, they have a very basic and preliminary level of assessment, psychological assessments. What is that? Or the, I mean, resources, whatever the resources they have. If you really want, in that window, I think you should get some assessment done. Okay, not in terms of judging or evaluating their capabilities on intellectual basis or psychological basis, just to understand the different aspect, how I
Right.
can help this child or children, okay, in a better way, and how I can foster the healthy environment as soon as possible they arrive at home.
Right.
Okay, because the quickly they're secure, they're feeling healthy, feeling good, it is good for you as a parent. Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. Our next question is from Bhagyam, and as I said, it's a very related question. So, what kind of questions are usually asked during the adoption committee meeting? Especially in cases of adopting children who are 6 plus, because below 6, we know, they try to look at our financial position and why do we want to adopt, our medical fitness and things like that. But here, it's also about the child and why do you want to go ahead with an older child. So, if the three of you can just share some, quick insights about this, maybe Sheetal, you can start.
No, I'll be honest. I haven't had an opportunity to go through this process.
Okay.
So anything I say may be incorrect. So I will skip this question and
Okay.
let Nirmala and Swapnaja take it,
Sure.
please.
Yeah, so in our case, I have two bio kids. My son was in 10th grade and my daughter was in third grade. So they asked us, the kids, to write a letter to them why they wanted another sibling. And yeah, so they wrote in their own words. We didn't even read them or correct their spellings or anything. They saved the letter. And in fact, even somebody from the agency said, this is such a beautiful letter. I have never read something like, my son had told that blood doesn't blood doesn't make a relationship.
Oh,
It's
wow.
what the heart makes. And he was like beside himself. Did you read what he's written? Did you help him? I said, no, I didn't help him. He just wrote it on his own. So that was that. And then when we went to the child protective services, there were three lady officers, I remember. And one officer in particular asked us, have two healthy children. Why do you want a third child? And I said, well, we just want to have a big family. Then she asked me the second time and the third time. I said, we want to have one more kid, and I want to rest my uterus. I don't want to put my uterus to work. That's all. And then she's like, and then she signed the papers.
That's very interesting. Swapnija, any
Yeah,
thought on
for
that?
me, it was a quite different experience. When we made a trustee, when they took our interview, uh, and they said, "You are emotionally all ready, but where is your fact sheet? Where is your blueprint?" I said, "What blueprint you're talking about?" He said, "We want to know exactly how prepared you are. Where is your master plan?" I said, "Master plan is here." No, right up. So they gave us few days. to write down the complete fact sheet on each and every aspect of children life, how, what, when, where, which. Okay, and we answered all the questions. They read through it and they said this can be a guidelines for the upcoming adoptive
Future
parents or
adoption.
something like that. Because me and Suresh was like, what to add, it should be absolutely 100% right, and in that process, when we are writing that blueprint, we have done lot of reflection, and we understood that maybe on emotional level we are ready, but on maybe this level, are we ready? So then we started asking our questions to ourselves, and we started thinking, oh, maybe we are not prepared, so let's make a plan to prepare on these things. So the state agency will check if you are super ready with your plan, your strategies, or not. Don't just have a plan in the air or in the mind. Write it down, have a
Right.
paper and pen ready, and then go and attend the interview with them. That's what is something which is my, because emotionally, emotional level everybody understands, but how about the practically? Like when you're going to bring those trials at home and you are all overwhelmed, you don't know where to go. You have not identified schools, you have not identified their interest area, you don't know what to do, and you are like completely blank.
Lost.
So it's
Yeah.
better to have a fact sheet ready, and they help us. They gave us a time to prepare that fact sheet because me and Suresh, we were not ready. We are only emotionally ready. And when we started preparing and jotting down the points, that's how we got the clarity. So
Right.
my suggestion, start writing down. Okay, if you want to have SIP, which SIP, how much, which school, why, where, what are the interests, who is going to do what, everything, and
Right.
that will help you.
No,
That will
I
really
think
help you.
that's a very valid point, and it's very helpful. I mean, this is definitely something that every pap who's looking to bring home a heart baby who is above 6 years of age, I think you all should definitely follow this. We are running over time, so I'm just going to take one. Okay, we have two questions coming up, so maybe quick answers. We have one from Vandana who asks, "How do you deal with loose talk or insensitive comments from relatives?"
I can answer that.
Yes,
I
Pragnaa.
come from a family of 25, six siblings, all of them married with kids. So my mom has like 18 grandchildren or something like that. I
Wow.
should count later on. So there is no magic pill to this. But what I would suggest is involve the family even before you're going to get the chance. Say, hey, I got a call. I need to go to Bombay. We are going to adopt this kid. Show his picture. Would you like to buy something for him? Involve them, and then maybe they will buy. I think he needs coloring pencils, or he needs clothes, or he needs shoe, whatever. Once you involve them, they feel part of this journey. It's not like you just brought a child home into the family and the next family get together, this child is, involve your family and involve them. If you believe in the power of prayer, ask them, pray for my child, we seek your blessings. The whole I'm telling you, the whole storyline changes when you involve the family.
Right.
But you
Yeah.
still have someone who's very negative, not accepting the child. You can slowly cut them off, move them aside, pick and choose who you want to talk to, who want to share. And the other thing is, the first year of the first 3 months is hell. Let me tell you that honestly to everybody. Uh, you will have ups and downs. Don't share it with everyone at home. Oh, you know what? He pushed some kid in the play area today. Again, I had to go to school because he broke the pencil. Don't, because then they will start adding more masala to it, like, oh, you don't know what his future his story was in the back. Maybe he has done it before this, that. You share that with a like-minded parent who have gone through this journey.
Somebody who can help you with a solution.
Exactly. With
Right.
yeah. So pick and choose what you want to share with your family. And I'm telling you, when you and your partner are strong in your decision, nobody can come in between.
Absolutely.
Nobody. It is like a boy and a girl fall in love, and the girl is fair, the boy is dark. If they are hell bent on getting married, nobody can say anything to that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So it is very important you and your partner stay on the same page.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Would anyone else like to add to this?
Yeah, what Nirmalaji said is more like, from the perspective of the parents trying to deal with the child, and the extended family for the, bringing in the child. Looking from the child's perspective, we also need to respect the child's, gradual fitting into the family, which could initially mean that even though we have announced to the family that our little one is joining, not so little, maybe 6-year-old child is joining into the family, we must give that child some time to adjust to the set of people that we are going to be called a unit. So
Right.
maybe 2-3 months where we don't take them for necessarily for the next wedding in the family if it's
Yes.
coming in the 3 months, or give that child the time to settle in, bond with the biological children, in like in their case, or bond with you as a parent.
Right.
Only then, when you feel connected as a unit, do you step out as a unit into the public space.
Absolutely.
That secure attachment, once it's made, the trust once it's made, even if some, the naysayers who have some insensitive comments, that will not hurt the child, or the child will be prepared to give an answer or state something in a way that they feel that, okay, the unit is set. Only then you take your child out. Give the child that much time. It could be 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, whatever. Do not push them into the arena of the extended family if you know that you cannot deal with it, or there is someone or the other who could say something to them and disturb their self-esteem, self-confidence, or pull them down, or bring a crack into the attachment that we are trying to build.
Absolutely. So, we're very deeply grateful to all the three of you, Nirmala, Sheetal, Swapnaja, for your invaluable insights and experiences that you all shared here today. I really wish we had more time, to talk and get a lot more insights from you all, but I think we will leave it for another day. This journey of, adopting a child who is older or above 6 years of age is definitely a testament to, the love, the resilience, and the boundless capacity that the human heart has. So, as we conclude this enlightening discussion, I would urge all our viewers today to please remember that every child, regardless of age, deserves a very loving and nurturing family. So, we hope that the wisdom shared by our three panelists here today will inspire and guide those of you who are considering to embark on this journey. A lot of information and a lot of insights. Do get in touch with us at Pragnaa. On our website, it's www.pragnaa.com, and or you can visit us on our Facebook page, on our Instagram page, which is Pragna for Adoption, and reach out to us if you have any pointed questions towards any of our panelists here today. Do send us a message and we will connect you all through, and you can get your questions answered. So thank you everyone for joining us today, and thank you to our three panelists especially. You all have been very, very enlightening, and we do hope to have a follow-up discussion sometime very soon. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so
Thank
much.
you, Ki.